Hi and welcome to my palmistry lessons videos again. Today I'll be talking more about the Simian line, a single transverse crease instead of the usual or more common two lines. So a Simian line is where there's one main line that crosses the whole palm. So if you followed my channel, you might already know that I have several videos about the Simian line already. It's not that common, but once you start looking for people with Simian lines, suddenly there seem to be more of them. And also quickly want to let you know, before I move on to the next slide, is that I now have membership options on my channel. So you get to have perks like this video, but more personalized content, members only, privileges. So if you want to learn more about that, check out the join button on my channel, and it'll be in the community section that you'll see a lot of stuff. And yeah, let's move on with this lesson. Move on to the slide. So when I look at this hand, where is it? Do I have to click? There's no hand here. There it is. Goes to show I don't know how to use this program. Yeah, so when I look at this hand, the first thing that stands out is the obvious lack of the head and the heart line separately. There is a very clear fate line though in the middle, as well as a well-formed lifeline around the ball of thumb. So the main lines are quite simple. So a little bit of history about the Simian line is that in around 1906, Mr. R.L. Down explained a medical importance of the Simian line as a diagnostic marker for Down syndrome. That is, people with Down syndrome, he discovered a lot of them had Simian line. But it wasn't until like 1959, when the data was recognized in science, that an additional chromosome caused the Down syndrome. So the Simian line was kind of, coincidental. The Simian line on its own is not an indicator of such. So some current studies of the Simian line present some different things: neurosis, hyperactivity, Asperger's, introversion, and often in younger people, delinquent impulsive behavior, ADHD, especially while they're young, a lot of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, that kind of thing is common. I have also heard that sometimes there are other health problems with the heart and things like that. But while these conditions, may relate to some individuals, the Simian line more often on people with no physical other behavioral problems. Personality-wise though, it does describe a somewhat different, more intense character. Many of my students, they find that palm readers have avoided them and particularly refuse to speak to them about the line, and that's because they've not studied enough about it to give any kind of a proper reading on it, so they try and avoid saying anything. So, but mostly you might recognize the Simian personalities as energetic, intelligent, enthusiastic, empathic, and a love for life. They're usually focused, single-minded, but they can be successful, they can be creative, they can be both. Because of that sheer determination, once they find what they want to do, they have that determination to stick to that particular path. So you see in this photo, the mounts are quite well developed. Both sides of the hand quite thick, quite well developed under the fingers as well, and the fingertips they look nicely rounded, and the thumb tip as well. Looks like it's got some little bit of puffiness to it. So all of that gives that energy for life. So obviously everyone is different, and we can't read a person based on the one single line. So we look at the whole picture to see what's going on in the hand. Let's bring up another picture. Let's see if this thing works. Yay! So I brought up a little bit more closer up picture of the same hand. So what I want to talk about is we always look at the quality of the lines to see if the energy runs consistently, or if there's branches and marks along the line that slows down the energy or changes the direction and the flow of the energy. So imagine a straight road. You drive straight and there's no turn-offs, there's no options, there's no, just you're going in a straight line to your destination. When the lines are similar in a way that if there are many outgoing branches coming from it or obstacles, it slows it down, and there's like stops and starts and changes in mind, changes in direction, releases of energy, emotional energy, releases of mental energy, all sorts of things going on. That's what these marks are on the lines. So looking at the quality of line, in this particular Simian line, there are not many branches, but there are many worry lines that are crossing over. So it might look like, so here we have this Simian, there is a slight little island there. So this Simian in general looks fairly free of marks. You might think that there are branches and marks there, but they're not branches. These are the worry lines crossing over the Simian line. So the worry lines start from near the thumb here, and they are crossing, some cross to the lifeline only. Lifeline is here. And some of them go all the way to the under the fingers. So there's quite a lot of worries and stresses, probably in the past, because we always look at what's happened in the past. We're not looking at, oh, this is future stress. It's not. It's already made a crease on your hand. If it's already made a crease on your hand, it's already a thing of the past. That's what's happened in your past. That's what's led this person to where he is today. So we'll go to this little island. On any of the main lines, islands can point to health issues, not necessarily. The island is a divided energy, so that they can have several other meanings, because the line itself is splitting. So there's potentially the person has taken two directions in life, at least for a period of time, and then the line comes back together, so everything always finishes up all right. So this island it's under the pinky side. So if you imagine if there was a heart line, the heart line would be starting from under the pinky and go through here and towards the index finger. If there was a head line, it would start from the thumb side and head towards the other side of the palm. So looking at marks on this Simian line, it's on the side of the heart line, not on the thumb side of the head line. So considering it's on the side of the heart line, it may point to an actual heart condition, which, because the island, it is a temporary, it's shouldn't be a permanent health problem. So there's also a lot of health lines here. that are crossing over the Simian line as well. So that kind of confirms that there has been a health problem in the past as well. And it just shows more sensitivity in the body when there's a lot of health lines. It could be just intestinal, bit of digestive problems, things like that. It could be very simple things. Now, the lines at the top that are rising everywhere, that shows there's a lot of them are part of the fate line. That means career and success lines, or Apollo lines, meaning success or happiness in the career. So it's mixed between those worry lines, but overall it shows this very active mind. They're busy thinking all the time and overthinking probably, and probably too much worrying from that overthinking. So what I also noticed is that there is a fish sign down at the bottom. Kind of a fish. I don't normally read fish signs, but this one was kind of a cute little fish down here. It's an island, but it is an island that has like the fins of a fish. I do have a fish sign video as well if you want to Google that up. But a fish sign down here at the bottom usually describes someone who is more spiritually grounded person. So because this person does teach yoga, it kind of makes sense to have that kind of a mark. So it's perfect for that. So the other line that crosses over this Simian line is the fate line, which does change direction, but it's a very strong fate line. It's steady, doesn't have many diversions, doesn't have many outgoing branches and things like that. So that shows someone who's constantly motivated, they're on a steady path, and they usually know what they want and go after what they want. So until around 50s, the age 50s, it looks like this where it starts changing direction, where the fate line now is up here where I showed it before in the blue, and the matching success line. So that shows that somewhere in the 50s there is a changing direction, more likely in regards to career life, and that there's signs of that being a successful venture because they have the success lines. But either way, it looks like many projects on the go later in life for this person. So let's go to the next slide. I think I have one more. Yes, that is the left hand. So this person has the Simian line on both hands. So we call that a double Simian. Someone is a double Simian. It's like, they shouldn't really judge them by the line on their hand, but because it's so unusual. So when it's on both hands, it gives the same intensity on an inner level as an outer level. So the non-dominant and the dominant hands are read slightly differently in the palm reading. So having the Simian on the non-dominant hand, it means he has those intense feelings on the inside, and on the dominant hand also shows to others, to the world. So for what he feels inside, he also shows to the world. So he may be difficult to understand. Other people might not understand him. They just don't get it. Like, who are you? You know, they will find that difficult to understand. Like for myself, living with someone with the double Simian for so many years, I get to understand. I have a much more clarity on what these people are about. So I'll just quickly point out too, often when people have this Simian line and they tend to have lines on the top that seem to cross. They can be different shapes on different people, but that's still called a girdle of Venus or a floating heart line, and that gives more sensitivity, possibly more empathy, or even more intensity to the character, depending on the individual. So whatever's happening, whatever personality that individual has, that personality is uplifted by having this girdle of Venus. So I hope that you have enjoyed that quick lesson. That's all I've got time for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can join my channel. That would be awesome. Click subscribe as well, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.